Why, hello, Internet! My name is Prunk, and today we are starting week 4, and we're doing this under Spell Ruler format. For those who are new here, hi, welcome, my name is Prunk. We are doing a Yu-Gi-Oh! League where you get to customize the formats to your liking with a group of other players. Each week you will earn votes to put things up and down a ban list, and we will play with new cards that have been released each week. If you're joining in, these are my little dev diaries as we can kind of talk about each of the different deck lists that we've kind of expected, how the format has changed, just players' mentalities and what they were thinking. So this is really just a social experiment that I'm doing with a bunch of other players to see how similar will our ban lists end up being compared to what the original ban lists were. What kind of unique decks will people play if things are limited slightly differently? And I'm overall curious about how close all of our formats will end up getting to what we experienced in real life. And it gives people a chance to play the original formats in ways they probably have never done before. So it's just a fun little experiment we're doing. With that intro out of the way, let's jump into spell rulers. If you had missed it last week, we did Metal Raiders and had a unique ban list with that. So now we're going to the spell stuff. And here we are. So, with this list, we have Battle Ox, Change of Heart, and Regeki all on the ban list still. Somehow, Lajin came off the ban list, and Seven Colored Fish got added in, but people still thought that Battle Ox was too OP. So, he actually earned an extra vote last week, which is kind of fun. Acid Trap Hole, Card of Destruction, D-Spell, Heavy Storm, Lajin, Metal Morph, Mirror Force, Neo, Pot of Greed, Reinforcements, Sangan, Swords of Revealing Light, Switch of the Black Forest, and Wall of Illusion, all onto the limited. And then for the semi-limit, I'm going to have to take a deep breath. Seven Colored Fish, Seven Tools of the Bandit, Dark Hole, a Dragon Zombie, Giant Soldier of Stone, Invigorate, Just Desserts, Last Will, Magic Jammer, Magician of Faith, Man-Eater Bug, Man-Eating Treasure Chest, Mechanical Chaser only getting hit with one ban somehow, Monster Reborn, Mystical Elf, Rogue Doll, Silver Fang, Solemn Judgment, Soul Exchange, Thunder Dragon at 2 is a travesty, Trap Hole, Trap Master, and Ultimate Offering. And now things unlimited from the previous week are going to be Summon Skull, the right leg of the Forbidden One. For some reason, they wanted all three of them like at 3. Hani, Hane, and Fissure, which I think is totally fine. In case you haven't memorized our random ass list from last week, how is that? What are the major changes? Well, we kind of see the things coming off the ban list. Those are 3 big things. A lot of the stuff is mostly new. Dark Hole getting put to 2 copies. Somebody just voted to unban it. There was a little bit of a debate on this guy. So Dark Hole had a bit of a war going on. Which is kind of fun in our little Discord. So we had players who was like, no, we need to ban it, and we had players like, no, keep it at 1. It's perfect at 1. And so we only had one player who voted to try and ban it, and we had 2 players who voted to unban it, which resulted in it going up from limited to Dark Hole being at 2, being a semi. This was unfortunate, but we kind of got to keep playing with Dark Hole. I think Dark Hole at 1 is perfect for this format. Dark Hole at 2 is still not that bad because there are a lot of big stuff in Spell Rulers, and there's a lot of hand destruction cards, which gets me to a really cool talking point, and we'll talk about the hand ripping cards in Spell Ruler because we had a lot of talks with this. As you kind of saw, all the new cards that were in there are just stuff that came out from Metal Raiders that had to be limited pretty quickly. And the most disappointing out of this is probably the Thunder Dragon, because seeing 3 Thunder Dragons in a format is really nice. Just having a couple cards making like Magic Jammer more live, Tribute to the Doom more live, having some of those really powerful cards that you need to pay cost to discard a card, and having that cost be a Thunder Dragon is kind of nice. There's not too many +1s in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Thunder Dragon is a solid +1, especially in early formats. So seeing him go down to 2 was a little disappointing, but otherwise I was pretty happy with this ban list and how it came up. Heavy Storm going to 1 as it was expected. It landed perfectly. We didn't really want to see more than 1. Last set we didn't see too many back row cards because Heavy Storm was at 3, so not many people were really playing traps anyways, which makes sense. Sangan at 1, totally fine. Witch at 1, totally fine. Card Destruction going down from the semi to playing 1. Somebody wanted to try and fix Exodia a little bit and give them a chance. Reinforcements getting an extra hit was kind of weird to me as well, and same with Neo. And 2 people opted to ban the Battle Ox. So let me go over. There he goes. So Battle Ox getting hit on the ban list this week was hilarious when only one person hit Mechanical Chaser. I don't even think it was the same guy. I think one different person hit Mechanical Chaser, and then somebody else banned Battle Ox. Two people voted to ban Battle Ox, and one on Neo, which was weird to me. So that's kind of how that landed. Wall of Illusion at 1, which was banned. I just voted to unban it personally. I did my best, and I wanted to try and focus on cleaning up the list, so it just wasn't a janky pile of 1,600 messes. So I've been going through and just trying to clean up the ban list as much as I can with my votes, hitting at every player, 7 players voted to ban Regeki, and unfortunately it was only 7 because we did have a player who wasn't participating and has been replaced since. So I think everybody hitting Regeki, we all kind of agreed we don't need to see this card at 3, and we definitely don't need to even see this card at 1. And having Dark Hole at 2 instead of Regeki at like 1 and Dark Hole at 1, I think is actually fine for our format. So overall, I'm really happy with how this list has shaped up. It's a really clean list. It did inspire some different kind of deck builds for this, so let's take a look at some of those. Now, before we get into some of the deck lists, though, there was a very outlying problem that the player base hated this week. And that was the introduction of the hand removal cards, Delinquent Duo, Confiscation, and Forceful Sentry, all being at 3 copies each. Even with cards like Thunder Dragon and Electric Snake, which will let you draw cards and stuff like that, which your opponent would never do. And like you can basically only get it ripped by Delinquent Duo, so Snake was mostly dead anyways. Players opted to do one of two things. Either play with 1 card each and Gentlemen out, basically, of their main decks. The Delinquent Duo, Confiscation, Forceful Sentry, so that way they only played 1 copy each. Or they let it go pretty ham. And I don't have all the deck lists, unfortunately, from this time. We had a smaller group of people who were playing a little bit more consistently in comparison to the previous league where we just had not many games played whatsoever. So we were kind of recovering, and it was improved a little bit more, but overall, I didn't get too many unique deck lists, unfortunately, from this set. But let's show off a few of them, and just so you can kind of get an idea of what the meta became. All right, one of my favorite buddies, he went in all hard on Relinquished, and this deck was actually terrifying. I am shocked that Relinquished was not more meta at the time, because this deck was extremely consistent and very, very powerful. And wait, why is he playing 2 Monster Reborn? Was that legal? Oh yeah, that was legal this set. I forgot. So I don't even think I mentioned that in the banning. But yeah, Monster Reborn had 2, Dark Hole had 2 this set. No big deal. And so anyway, we got to see a lot of these different cards going in. The Manjus, the Sonic Birds, the really, really strong control of Relinquished. Very, very powerful card. He was protected with Solemn. He was protected with Magic Jammer. And so we just got to see a lot of that with the hand ripping aspects too. This is a 45 card deck, but it was extremely consistent for our players. This set, we also got introduced to the jars. Cyber Jar was at 3, and Morphing Jar has come from the tournament pack. So those ones are sitting down as well. Playing a little bit heavier of a deck quantity was there to help prevent some empty jars matches that we were kind of expecting as well. Overall, really, really cool list. Ravener did great getting Canada to showcase how powerful this deck could really be. This one was my list. I was trying to make tunes work because I knew they would be pretty awful, and I just wanted to see if I could do it. And the answer was no. I was not able to make tunes work. Go figure. Especially with some of the discarding cards in the format. I already was drawing bricks that now they were just in the graveyard anyways. So this is not a deck I would ever recommend again to try in Spell Ruler format. There's just not enough consistent cards to make this card work. I thought I could get something off with like the clown stuff, and I figured I could do something with like the just being able to attack directly. I was not. Wait, why was I not playing Mother Grizzly in this deck? This may not have been my official build. Yeah, this is more of the clown control FTK kind of burn you out as best I can deck, and it didn't go very well. So this was my build. I do not recommend it at all. One really cool side deck card that we were kind of expected, because Snatch Steals at 3 on top of some of those other toxic cards, was Eternal Rest, where it destroys monsters equipped with equipped cards. So I was kind of expecting to see a little bit more, and it was also a good side deck choice for against Relinquished stuff that I was kind of expecting to see. So it did okay, but this is a horrible list. I don't think I wanted. Did I win any games with this? No, I didn't. I didn't win any games with this. Oh, this was my test run. Or I'm sorry, this was my fun deck that I tried playing out, but this wasn't officially what I played for the league. We go over to, where was some of the other ones? This was more of a standard list that most people are kind of expecting. This is the triple confiscation, triple forceful, triple delinquent duo, triple snatch steal. Just one of the most toxic lists that I think we've had in Yu-Gi-Oh. I would take triple pot, triple Regeki all day over the delinquent duos for centuries and like just felt bad, man. Just your hand ripped by turn one. It just felt bad. A lot more players are opting into the 45 card decks though, just because they felt like they were gonna have to draw more. We did see a couple morphing jars and cyber jar decks, so seeing all these cards go in. Just mill strategy, but it was kind of funny because then you're filling up their hand again. So like the hand rip cards were usually pretty live because they were getting cards off of Cyber Jar or Morphing Jar all the time. So good list. I don't remember who this list was from though, unfortunately. And then we had right here just another big weak deck. Sword of Deep Seated was an interesting choice. This was the mill deck that we were expecting to see, and man, this one definitely put in some work. Spear Cretin, hero who gets you some spell cards, triple Cyber Jar, triple Morphing Jar, Banisher of the Light, just to kind of put things into the graveyard officially. I mean, Monster Reborn was at 2, so there was that sort of recursion. Gumo was interesting choice just to have a big beat stick, and Mechanical Chaser was pretty solid as well. But overall, nothing too crazy with this. It's a pretty stock list of what we'd expect with the empty jar kind of style. Okay, so for the stats, I lied earlier. Ravener did do really well with his relinquish deck. I was looking at the wrong thing, but we got a total earned vote count of 42. Unfortunately, somebody didn't earn 0, and we did remove them from the league. Just again, all we were really asking is just we want 1 to 2 games a week. Like if you can give us that, that's really what we're shooting for. But we managed to fill up that slot, so that's always nice too. But Ravener and I kind of competed. Ravener beat me, I think, this week, and then I beat Lol, and Lol beat Ravener. So us three kind of like to go back and forth and see who gets to beat what. So fun list. I played good stuff. Nothing too fancy, I don't believe. I don't even have my original deck list for this, unfortunately, anymore. But we're still bouncing up back from the Metal Raiders stuff, and we ended up getting 33 more votes into this little list, or 42 votes out of compared to the 33. So we're on the incline of where we wanted to be, and I think everybody's list all kind of came up pretty nice, especially because we had a really horrible format. Like we all knew going into this that this was probably going to be the least fun format, seeing triple hand removal, and as you can expect, almost all of them didn't make the next list. And so you'll get to see what the next ban list is because it's kind of funny. One of them survived. So this week, Ravener and I kind of tied in for second place, but technically he beat me, so I'll give him the first week. Hanging around about an 83% win ratio. Unfortunately, that means that everyone else has been cannibalized and all hanging a little below 50% win rate. We just introduced Sparrow into the game like at the end of the week to replace one of the other guys. He just didn't get a chance to actually play a game. So Sparrow's coming in. He's actually been with us since, and he's doing great. We went through stats. We went through the deck list. Went through the ban list. I believe that's going to wrap up this episode then. We kind of talked about everything we need to. I'm excited to kind of show you off what we get to do next week. I think it's Pharaoh's Servant. And ban list is always changing over. Again, I appreciate you all watching this. Please like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff if you want to see it. Keep going. I'm having fun making these videos. And a little bit less effort compared to, again, like my Fixing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, which I will have a Fixing Yu-Gi-Oh come back out as well. Or if you're here because you saw my wrestling stuff, then hi, I do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff too. And sometimes Lorcana. But until the next one, peace out, y'all. Love you. Mwah.